Switch my view. There we go. All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to episode 8 of Straight to the Kokoro. I'm joined by Junil, who's a New York City trainer with global clients as well. She's a part-time piano enthusiast and seasonal gamer. So thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you, Trevor, for having me.
I feel like I know we were talking off air before we even started clicking record, but it's such a small world, like the fitness circle we sit in.
Oh my God. It's like, and all it comes out of like New York City, and then everyone's moved out, and it's like it's still a small world, but we're just out of the state, like in different states and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like literally, I don't know if your Instagram feed is an echo chamber like mine, but outside of like random anime stuff, tattoos, and some drawing studd, like
Cool.
it's all just like most of the people that we like know, like you say.
Yeah.
So how'd you kind of get pulled into, because I feel like the respiration, PRI, like what we do is a bit more niche, like obviously.
Right.
Like how'd you kind of like find this circle or bubble, whatever you want to call it?
Well, it started with Bill Hartman. And then it started with Kyle Dobbs, actually, when I took his mentorship and he was teaching me about like counter and continuity. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Can I curse? Oh my God.
Oh yeah. You do whatever.
I was like, what is this? And then I started diving into, and I came across like Bill Hartman's YouTube, and I dove into that. I took Connor Harris's course, and I did a little bit of my own research a lot too. Like Alina Kepler has helped me a lot. She's awesome. And I'm taking also right now Katie St. Clair's course.
Nice.
To get like a whole different perspective from it, but I'm not certified. I'm not certified. I just learned and taken in so much from all these amazing people that know it so well. And now I feel like in the future, when I take it, like I'll get it. I'm not going to be so confused in a certification.
So it's interesting. Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I just feel like, people should do it the opposite way. Like get your experience in, try to learn as much as you can on your own and practice it, and then go take the certification. Because I feel like I spent so much money in the beginning of my career sitting clueless in all these certs.
I feel like I kind of like, when you say you don't like your training cert, right? Yeah. So like I did it the reverse way. So like I feel like I came in at a weird middle of fitness. So I know like Ellis Lee. So yes. Ellis is like my older brother.
So dope.
And I love him so much, but he was the first person that exposed me to PRI because I messed up my hip. And I just remember I was like, I think I got it. So like your pelvis does this, and he's like, no, it's because of this. And like, I was like, okay, so like lumbar spine first. He's like, no, pelvis pressure first, then lumbar spine. But
and to the point to where I just, I have so many tools, and there's times where because I work with Gen Pop, I don't even name things. I don't name things where they're like, why is this happening? I help them understand what the body is doing.
Yep.
But I never tell them like, it's wrong, you need to fix this and that. I'm like, look, this is what's happening. We just need to decompress here a little bit.
I do roughly the same thing, because I know there's the whole like fragility idea that like, right. I feel like there was the whole like, you're not broken, just go jump off cliffs, you'll live. And then there was like, if you don't breathe on the floor, you're gonna spontaneously combust. Like, and I've been on both sides of that too.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree. I mean, I don't think most people. So in person, Connor and I work with probably a lot of Gen Pop people at the physical gym.
Right.
And most of them are kind of like they nerd out a little bit on this stuff. So they'll be like, what is this? Like,
those are fun. Those are fun to train. Yeah. There's clients who don't give two shits, but the ones that do, I love it. Also, like it keeps me on my toes also, which I really like.
For sure. We have one client now who has she's got a PhD in chem, but her undergrad's in kinesiology. So she's like, how does this work?
Oh, that's cool.
And then like,
it's supposed to be nice.
Honestly, cueing her is easier because she'll just be like, I'm like, okay, more shoulder extension. She's like, oh, okay. But like, if you were to just be like, you tell her like, pull your elbow to your back.
Oh, yeah, elbows.
Like, yes, what? What's up?
I train a neuroscientist.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, I love training her. Like if I'll come over like any Huberman Lab podcast that I listen to, I go to her and I'm like, what does this mean?
How does this work? Yeah.
What does this work? It's really cool. So I get that. That's a good feeling.
That's pretty sick. I know. So I know, like, I saw in the one reel you did recently, you have like some manga on your shelf. What you had, I think Hunter, One Piece. Do you have anything?
I have Attack on Titan. I have One Piece. I have HunterxHunter, and one Death Note, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and Death Note.
Out of like, I guess out of most of the stuff you've watched, I feel like from what I've seen on your story, I feel like you're a big Hunter fan.
Yes, it's in my top 3.
What are the other two? What are the other two up
What
there?
are the rankings? I have to say, a lot of people are going to argue me on this, but I'm going to put Naruto first.
Okay. No, I literally get that.
Yeah, HunterxHunter second, and third place is always between like Full Metal Alchemist and Death Note.
I think Full Metal, people forget like how up there Full Metal Alchemist is.
I know.
Like Brotherhood, not the regular one.
Yeah. Brotherhood, guys, watch Brotherhood, not.
I literally was just talking to my friend who was visiting over the weekend, and we were talking about that. And I'm like, you end the regular Full Metal Alchemist, like that was depressing. And I'm also not sure, like the show before you, if you don't watch the movie, and you're just like, right. What? Like this is it?
Exactly. Nobody gets it.
So why is like, what about Naruto kind of, or you can go with either one. Like, what about like those 3 make them so high on your list? Like,
well, I think Naruto was the first anime I ever like watched through. It was my first obsession with anime. And I was one of those that I watched the fillers. Okay. I love the individual storylines of each characters when they were talking about like Gaara and like Sakura's story. Like I really loved that. And I went through, like I finished the whole thing. Then now that I've watched Naruto, I feel like a lot of things relate back of like, you know, the typical main character, very annoying, very super powerful all of a sudden, gets really motivated for a killer fight. It's really sweet. That's the same storyline. Then for HunterxHunter, I feel like it was just a masterpiece. The characters, the thrill of the action, and then the storyline, I think it's not so much like Naruto, and Gon is not as annoying as Naruto.
Yeah, he's more like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, but Killua is my favorite. Killua is my favorite out of all of them.
I'm not sure if he'd be considered like tsundere, like on and off, like with how he is.
Also, too, I don't recommend HunterxHunter with kids around, just because like I really feel Hisoka's a creep.
What's up? He's just, there's so many memes of like him and
I'm like, how can you put this for kids?
Was it made for like, I don't even know what it's rated.
No, I haven't looked into it, but I was just, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like quite a few moments. I mean, he has a pretty major role in the story. He's probably one of my least favorite, like.
Really, villains?
Yeah, like he's got some cool abilities. I think the way they like set him up to use what he can do is super creative.
Yeah, my thing is like, that's what you're gonna make him, the strongest guy, and it's like his thing is like bubble gum. Yeah. Like, okay.
I mean, there were definitely like the first time we see that, like when you get into the Nen stuff for the first time, I was like, that's weird. And then like you have Gon, who's obviously playing rock, paper, scissors.
Right. And then third place, between Full Metal Alchemist and Death Note. Death Note was just a thriller. Death Note was just like, it had me on the edge on my feet of like, is this man gonna catch him?
That's actually, so I took a big hiatus from like any anime because I grew up watching it, and Naruto was like the thing. Like, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, I'm 27. So I grew up watching like Cartoon Network at night where you had like Naruto in dub. And then my friend, I think literally like we reconnected around, it was my friend's college roommate, and they were on like episode 494. And I was like, it's still going? And he's like,
oh my God.
And he's like, yeah, I literally binged through so much of it, like caught up. And then I was like, wow, like Then I watched Death Note actually, and that got like I binged through it so hard because it was
Death Note is the one anime I always, when no one's watched anime, I'm like, watch Death Note.
Yep,
It's not too long. It's pretty thrilling. It's pretty captivating. Like,
I
you
think,
do all right.
yeah, I think it checks like that or Full Metal for me, or the two, like, because I'm like, it checks all the boxes. It's not so out there. Like, there's definitely stuff where I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this. Like,
like I didn't like Bleach.
I've never. So that's the one I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I stopped watching it after he like loses his power, and I was just like, all right, I don't care anymore. Also, too, did you watch what's this guy? The animation is great. Demon Slayer.
Yep, the second season blew me away.
I didn't finish it.
The animation.
Yeah, I think the animation is great. The graphics are amazing. I think the storyline, which is watching so much anime, it was giving me the same Naruto vibe.
I think, well, there's that whole like shonen protagonist like category where it's just like, I know exactly where this is going. Like, you know exactly where it's gonna go.
Exactly where this is going. Like, you don't even need to finish the anime. Like, he's gonna save her. He's gonna like succeed. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I heard with I don't know if you heard this. It was maybe 5-6 years ago. The Attack on Titan author like announced how he was gonna end the show, but he didn't go with this ending. But he's like, I'm just gonna kill everyone. Like, and people like got really upset. He's like, I'm kidding. Like,
Attack on Titan is the one I didn't finish. I read the first 2 mangas, and I watched the first season. I don't know. I think I was just busy in my career or something where I was like, I should finish it though. I should finish it.
The 4th season, like I got Connor started it and now he's like addicted to it again. Like, but he's on the end of the 1st season, but the 4th season, like it's funny. There's a lot of people in our community in fitness that like anime that I had no idea that I've either like.
I'm so happy. I feel
yeah. Oh no, I literally, it was definitely one of those things I was more like closeted about, and now at this point I'm like, it's the best storytelling like I've seen from anything, and like the inspiration they draw from so many other cultures, like Marcos, who I know you work with, like Marcos loves anime and like Evangelion.
I don't know what that is.
It's like one of the older 90s animes, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, Marcos is really into the old anime, and he's introduced me to some of them, some of the mangas from back then.
Which ones?
I don't remember, but I have them noted in my notes of like eventually when I can.
The list, yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
I was gonna ask you if you've watched the 7 Deadly Sins.
I have. I stopped at the middle endish of season 4 because I know what happens.
How do you know what happens?
So I like watching some really like I enjoy watching the YouTubers who like break down the Easter eggs to a lot of stuff, like as well as the chapters.
On YouTube though, I don't like you watch these reviews kind of thing, the breakdowns. I watch gameplays.
Of
gamings, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we were talking a little, like what games is it like Minecraft only, or is it like other stuff?
No, it's not just good call though. So I watch a lot of Neebs Gaming. If you ever heard of them, they're hilarious. But the thing, you ever heard of Ark Survival, the game?
No, what's that?
Okay, it's the worst. It's the hardest game I've ever played in my life. It's the worst $60 I've spent. Like I bought this game and I was dying every 5 seconds. You're a caveman.
It's like Dark Souls, it sounds like.
It's literally based like back in the dinosaur era, and you're this caveman. And the game starts at like you wake up, you're naked, and then it's like you're too hot, you're gonna die, right? So you get in the water and a piranha eats you.
Yep.
You're cooling off, but a piranha eats you. And you try to find berries, but if you eat the wrong berries, you die.
Oh my god. Yeah. It sounds like did you ever play Oregon Trail growing up as a kid?
No.
So it's literally this game where you're doing roughly what you say, but it's not as involved. You're making a choice. It's like you're trying to go across country with like a horse and carriage, and it's like you cross the bridge. It's like the bridge broke, your horse drowned, you're dead. Like it's like you'll just be going and it's like rattlesnake bit you, you're dead. Like
that's it.
It's just like everything that can kill you does kill you. And I think like the closest I've ever gotten, it's like, nope, you're still dead. Like, so it's, yeah. But no, I feel that. I mean, I know at one point during, I'll say like early COVID, like the first
Right.
year, like shut all the gyms down where we were in the Northeast. Like
Right.
I got super into Call of Duty, and
I feel like I
Ellis,
better go back on Call of Duty during 2020.
oh yeah, I was literally just watching Power Hours, like training because I had a full gym in my house, and
Right.
then I was playing COD. Like I was just addicted to COD. But I remember Ellis was super into League of Legends, so he used to watch like some Twitch streamers.
Legends. One of my cousins is literally like a champion in the Dominican Republic. It's insane.
Well, it's nuts to watch like pro people play. Like even my one friend was really into Call of Duty, and he had one day we were at his place. He was watching this one streamer, and like the rest of us are like going around gathering resources. This guy straight up just like landed in the clusterfuck of people. It's like, bring it, like let's go.
Okay, great, great.
And he's just going, and I'm just like, I can't do this. Like,
I could never.
I mean, Halo was probably the game I was best at because that was like high school for me.
High school for me was Call of Duty.
Okay, see, I was like, they got me to convert at one point during the first like Modern Warfare, but like I was just like binging Halo, and then the first Call of Duty I played, I was like, this is better. This is better. Like we gotta play this.
Fine. But yeah, for the most part, I watched like the ARC gameplays just because the game is so hard, but I want to enjoy it. Like you can tame a dragon.
That's awesome. So it's like Skyrim.
It's like Skyrim, yeah, even though it gets updates.
Yeah, I mean,
like
Skyrim. Yeah, I mean, I know Skyrim's also like just so open world, and you're kind of like, I don't know, like if you ever played any like, I guess that's just that's an RPG, open world RPG. Like you just go do all the side quests, and then by the time you come to the main quest, you're like OP as hell, and you're just like, oh yeah, like
that was me with Zelda.
Okay, I didn't even know you could do that in Zelda. I haven't played enough of the classics though.
Bro, in Breath of the Wild, you can do the little side missions. Like you don't have to fight the boss at the end until you want to.
Okay.
Yes, like you have to fight 4 main bosses and eventually like a bigger boss. And like I spent most of my time just doing the little missions first.
I feel like that's what I did in Fallout, if you've ever heard of Fallout.
Yeah, I've heard of Fallout.
Like just went like completely off the rails. And by the time I came to the main one, it was like they were like level 3, I'm like level 25, and I'm like, yeah, that's cute. I was gonna say, so like, are you watching anything right now?
No, I just finished My Hero Academia.
Okay.
About a month ago.
Is that season 4? I think.
I don't know. It's the full thing.
So I know it's when Shigaraki like wakes back up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I finished the whole thing. There's still supposedly more to come.
Oh yeah.
I liked it. Shoto's definitely my favorite character. He's like, I don't know, like I just resonate. He's so sweet and like hardcore, but like.
No, I mean, he's got, I think like a lot of like, I feel like I've seen you post before, like, I think it was niche, like in the past, like a lot of people would repost, like, so it was like Nietzsche stuff.
Yeah.
Like even, I haven't read his stuff yet. Like I've been more into probably other, more modern people, though I've read like some Marcus Aurelius stuff.
Yes.
But
into the philosophy stuff.
Yeah. What's up?
We're getting into the philosophy stuff.
Well, I feel like going back to like on that topic with the anime stuff, right? Like a lot of like the like trauma stuff and like personal hardships. Like it's no fun if you have a protagonist that's just like
I know.
Like yeah, like I mean, Midoriya is like, like you said, kind of like, hey, he's not the best. He's gonna train real hard. Like, but yeah. Shoto has like so much stuff, like Endeavor,
so much trauma, so much sadness, no relationship with his father, like.
Yeah, I mean, and Endeavor's like trying-ish by that time, like where you are.
Endeavor's an asshole though, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch, like, I know what's happening in the manga with that right now, because it
you
kind
read
of.
The whole thing?
No, again, same thing with the YouTubers, but like what pissed me off was like I think they thought it, like one of them made it sound like it was gonna end a year and a half ago. And I was like, oh, this is it. And then it was like, they're still going. Like, but I will tell, like, do you care about spoilers or no?
No, I do. I do.
Okay,
Don't
no. Okay,
spoil
then
it.
I'm not gonna
Don't
go
spoil
there.
it.
No, that's why I ask. I'm not
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
wait
there.
for it. I'm gonna wait for it.
But
It's like you know, HunterxHunter, they're coming out with another
I
4
was gonna
episodes.
ask, like, I think you reposted the dude's Twitter. Like I think he gained
Yeah.
the most followers in a day out of anyone too.
He posted a picture of a tree.
Oh, he was like, I'm coming back. And I was like,
Thing to it, it's like everyone's so excited, but it's like the 4 episodes are gonna be about Kurapika.
oh yeah.
It's not even gonna be Gon and Killua.
So I watched someone break down where it's gonna go now, like with Kurapika and like the boat. Like wait,
I don't remember the boat. All I remember was him trying to like get the eye back and like recall his family's eye.
oh, okay. I think what I know is like super overarching. Like they're going to like a different continent.
Wow.
Like, because I don't know, but then there's some like no, I won't go into it, but like it sounds like it's gonna be he's the main character, like for sure in the whole rest of it, but it seems like they're doing like more world building stuff. And
I'm excited to see some of him because I feel like he wasn't really highlighted and he's like a badass.
oh yeah, he just literally messed up one of the phantom troughs, like the spiders, and then just was like, all right, I'm gonna go.
All right, bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
eye.
background character.
I got my eye. I'm good.
Yeah. Have you ever like been to like Comic-Con, like or anything like that in New York?
No.
Okay.
Which is sad. I know. I wanted to go in 2020 and then a whole pandemic happened. And then I haven't really like cared to go. Like I also rave, like I used to love going to raves. And instead of Comic-Con, I go to BookCon.
Okay. What's BookCon? Is it BookCon exactly?
BookCon is Comic-Con for like books.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like all of your favorite authors. There's like books everywhere. It's like talks and pretty cool things.
That's
so I haven't gotten a chance to go, but I think I'm gonna wait. If I ever have kids, like I'm waiting to watch One Piece to introduce them to anime with One Piece.
Have you seen One Piece?
I started, I think, maybe 80 episodes in.
Okay.
But I was just like, this is gonna take me forever, and I don't have the time.
I feel you. So same thing with I watched the stuff that I want to watch at this point, but I know where the story is again because of YouTube. But I think I watched up to.
You gotta send me these YouTube guys.
I honestly, it's so enjoyable because like it just tells me the stuff I want. They go into some of the like the greater depth with like where the references are coming from.
Right.
But I think I watched up to like I've watched into 1,000, like for sure.
Jeez.
I mean, I think what you would probably like because I feel like you get maybe a lot of it having seen like.
I feel like I would enjoy it. I'm not knocking it down.
I was gonna say Gintama. If you've ever heard of Gintama.
No.
So it's like, so I was getting tattooed, and the guy, literally one of the shop apprentices in Soho, or actually, I'm sorry, actually no, he's an apprentice. He was explaining, he's like, it's this samurai during like Edo period Japan, and it gets like invaded by aliens. It's like goated as a comedy anime.
Is this to do with like the pig? Is it a pig or a cat? A huge cat or something like that? I feel like
huge dog.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I think I've seen it on my Crunchyroll.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
It's they literally make fun of like, so it's some of the best action scenes and the like really good character development.
Should I add this to the list?
I would, but it's one of those things you can put on whenever, and you don't probably need to actually have much context of what you're watching to enjoy it.
Fair.
Like I was watching an episode the other day, and it's like there's so many side stories that are funny, but it's like instead of jigsaw, it's jigsaw. Like
wow.
And like the 2 guys got kidnapped, and it's just like it's just its own like spin-off, but they'll constantly make fun of like there's a scene at one point that's like 2 seconds, and he's teaching a class, and one guy's missing an eye, and then another guy has an eye patch, and he's supposed to be like Donzo.
Oh my, they're just making fun of the other anime.
They go after everything. He's like, I'm going to become king of the, what am I becoming king of?
I have to watch this now since I'll get the references.
Oh, there's Gundam. Like they even say too on the top, like in the sub, like there's the bottom stuff, and on the top they'll have the reference, like they're going after like One Piece. There's a whole episode that's a commercial. Like you don't realize you're watching a commercial.
Oh my God, I gotta watch this.
It's so good. I feel.
Add it to the list.
How'd you? So we were talking. Like I feel like you have a really diverse like story most of the time. Like you do a lot of solo traveling, which
yes,
I honestly am super jealous. I'm trying to go to Japan if they open later this year by myself. I was supposed to go during 2020.
Everything.
And then I considered moving there and teaching English.
Nice.
So I was gonna possibly give up like training because I was at a big box gym. So I don't know if like what your coming up looked like to being an independent trainer, but I did.
Go ahead.
No, I did the big box. Like I was at a Lifetime. My coworkers were chill, but it was definitely like, one, you get paid shit. Like,
yep.
Two, like there's not much continuing ed in my point, and people are very like, it just wasn't diverse enough. So I was like, I'm either gonna quit my job and like go full in on like movement, doing what I love and like helping people through that medium. So I ended up moving, cross country, getting an internship for Connor at first.
Yeah, Connor's great. So
he's both as a person, like
move out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, well, the other option, I was like, I'm gonna sell my car, like liquidate everything, just go travel the world for like a year. Or I'm gonna go move to Japan and teach English. Because during the pandemic, I took 6 months of Japanese. I actually have to hit my teacher back up, but like
that's so cool.
Yeah, because I love like anime OPs too. Like some of my lifting music is that stuff, and I'm just like, I don't even know what it is, but this is great vibes. But I feel like, so for you, like what was your journey? Because I feel like you're super eclectic and like being into like philosophy, obviously playing piano, which we were talking about briefly.
So I used to work in corporate America.
Oh, okay.
I have a business degree and I was working in an office. I was like executive assistant, like to the marketing director. I was a project coordinator, all this crap. And I remember just being miserable, getting paid shit, working 9 to 5, sometimes like 9 to 8, 9 to 7. And granted, like it was really fun. I had really cool clients working for the company. I worked for an environmentals company. And before that, I used to work for T-Mobile as a sales rep. Like it was like my college job. And
like selling phones?
Oh yeah. And like I made more money selling phones than going to corporate America.
That's crazy.
So I started transitioning, right? I was like, look guys, I'm gonna eventually quit. So I started taking both jobs. I went back to T-Mobile and then I was working that to save up some money to quit everything and go work for Equinox.
Okay.
Because when you start, you're making nothing.
Oh yeah, I literally, Equinox wouldn't hire me, and this was like a couple years into my training career. They're like, "You're too green," and I'm like, "Okay,
whatever."
Yeah, I was like, "Whatever." Yeah.
So yeah, I quit everything. I go to Equinox, and thankfully, I landed in I worked at a Columbus Circle.
Okay.
Pretty residential area, and that's always my suggestion to new trainers. Like, go to a gym where there's a lot of nearby residents, right? In Soho, you're not gonna really find that, right? You're gonna get people, or like in the financial district, like you're gonna get people who leave, like they don't live nearby.
Yeah.
So.
It's good. Yeah, that's really good.
Good point. Yeah. So I didn't even realize that until after I moved, I quit Equinox. But Equinox was fun. I met some amazing people. I learned a lot. And I started Kyle's mentorship. And I was just so scared to leave, dude.
Yeah.
You can relate to this. Yeah, I was just like, where am I going to get leads from? And also too, I have a really huge love-hate relationship with social media. If I had to depend my business on social media, I wouldn't be a trainer.
I literally constantly, I give people so much credit who make consistent content. I want to do it. I know I need to have some existence there because most of my income is through remote coaching.
Oh,
But like, I definitely, it's not my, like, I love that I can connect with some people. Like you're saying,
yeah,
like, I would have never known you were into it. Like, I wouldn't know a lot of the people I know in our circles and even like
right.
outside, but other times I'm just
Also,
like, this place is
exactly.
so toxic.
Also, to like my introverted ass, like I love social media for that, where it's like I get to interact with all of you and I don't have to deal with you in real life. Like, I love that. I absolutely love that. So
So
like, go
no,
ahead.
I think what's funny with that is like grew up like I'm pretty introverted, but like there are certain realms I'm confident enough in, or I spend enough time in, like fitness. People are like, you
Yeah.
seem like you're really comfortable doing this. I'm like, I mean, maybe externally, yeah, but like this is also something, you know, like we're immersed in fitness. I'm like, this or anime, like I'm super familiar with it. Like you put me in a bar and I'll just probably be in the corner.
Same, same. I remember Kyle had gone into the city once and like we met like he was like, oh, I'm gonna be here, like it's like this burger spot. Dude, the whole table was like live talking, and I was just like in the corner. Just like not a word the whole time. I just went to meet Kyle and then I was like, I'm out.
Just gonna take it all in, and you're like, oh, this is.
Yeah, and this is interesting. And then like I left. I was like, all right, cool. Got
I
to
feel
meet.
that.
But yeah, like Kyle really like helped me and like pushed me to like quit. And once I did, honestly, it was the best decision of my life. I, it really ends up being who your clients are because my lead system is my clients.
Yeah.
I am booked and busy because of the amazing clientele that I have. Like I am training my client's brother, sister-in-law, her cousin down the block. Like my other client, I'm like training her daughter. Like it's mostly this branch of family that I have. And then I have remote clients that are usually like either my old high school friends that are training with me or some people who can't train with me in person anymore. But that's basically my story for the most part. I think it was really hard transitioning, running your own business, and like it's pretty shitty in the beginning, but like that's just part of the process. But now I proudly can say I only work with referrals.
I no, I think that's awesome. I mean, I
Yeah,
know like the venting process, I don't think people realize like one, it's not the easiest thing. Two, you don't know who you're getting when it's like remote. And then the other thing is like you're in New York City. Like I know like I tell people outside of like the tri-state area where we're
yeah,
from, like what the price of hourly training is, and they're like, that seems crazy. And I'm like, it's really not. And I'm talking about like over $100 for a training session in general. Like
right,
let's go
right.
super broad, right? Like I think in New York, you'll pay anywhere from like, I feel like 130 to like 200, depending,
An hour, easy.
if not more. Like, but you also are talking about people who are like, you can get like, I've worked with like, I'll say lower tier from an education standpoint, not from a person standpoint. Like
Right.
people who have very like, they got their cert, that was it. And then I've worked with like,
Yeah.
the people like we know, right? And it's like this person will watch you walk and be like, yeah, that's, you don't pronate, you just
Yeah, you just
orient
walk,
your entire foot
you walk
into,
on your whole left side the whole time.
yeah. And people will be like, wait, well, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's like, oh, you don't need to stretch your hip flexor, you have a forwardly oriented pelvis and you need hamstrings. And it's like,
You just need to get a 90-90. Come on.
yeah.
Lay down.
Well, I mean, but like most, it's like some people don't know that. So I think the first time they get exposed to like, it's super hard to differentiate, I think, in our field, like what you're paying for.
Yeah. Also, but also too, like I really appreciate a lot of my clients that I've had for a long time now because they see personal training now at such a bigger picture. So like recently when my client gave me her cousin is like, well, you should stretch me after the session. And I'm like, you don't need, working out is stretching. Like it's not what you need. Also too, you can't even pick up 5 pounds. Stretching is the last thing I'm worried about right now. And I was talking this with my client about how like people don't understand what personal training is with us, like this realm of people. It's not just like some sweat and hit and move on type of thing. So it's really nice when my clients have gotten to a point to recognize that.
I think something that'd be cool to talk about if you want to go into this is like, I know you also post and talk about like mental health stuff, which I'm a huge proponent of. Like,
I'm a huge advocate. Yes, people get therapy. Oh my God, therapy.
What's up?
I don't know, I'm like telling listeners, like, get therapy.
No, I mean, listen, I definitely would say, like, I have a therapist now. I've had one for a couple of years. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
my old therapist was like my grandmother. If you've had like, but in a sweet way, because I'm also like, my grandmother on my dad's side is definitely more crass, like sweet as hell, and like definitely feed me until I'll die. Like, but like definitely more, yeah. But I was gonna say, like, I think something that'd be cool, and at least something, this is an assumption. Like, I feel like I've seen some stuff you've posted, but like for me, the most important thing is not just like the fitness experience; it's their relationship to it, but also like the broader picture. Like, you can go enjoy yourself with food, or like not being like, like progress isn't linear, to the fact that like I think people don't like, if you want to talk about any of that, or kind of like,
oh my God, I love that. My introduction, like when I assess people, I always make it very clear to them, I don't give a shit if you ate a cookie. I hope it was good. Like, you know, and I never make them feel, all my clients are, I will never make you feel guilty for something. You ate something, whatever, cool. Like, every time they're like complaining about something, I'm like, all right, well, did you eat foods that met your goal? And if not, like, cool, but also your friend was in town. Like, you haven't seen them in a while. Like, go fucking have a bottle of champagne with them. Like, it's okay. Catch up. But having that work-life balance, teaching and also too, I train a lot of wealthy people. And for them, like, being workaholics in a way, and kind of detaching them from like building boundaries with their work. Like, I have one client who takes like their mental health walks in between his work. And sometimes, like, on my online, my remote clients, by the way, you'd appreciate this, on their days off, I give him like long walks, right? And then I tell him to put a 30-second to a minute timer and just kind of lay down and breathe. Right? I don't put meditation, because I don't want them to put a word on it.
Yeah.
But it's like, people don't know how to relax.
I mean, it's tough. Like,
and also too, I can see, I think in our career too, one of the biggest things I see is like people's relationship with food, how they relate to, I don't think trauma is the word, but I guess this traumatic childhood growth with, like, mainly how I see it is with mothers. So I have your typical successful woman who has a bad relationship with food because their mother fed them like watermelons to make them skinny.
Oh, it's messed up. Yeah.
It's like, it's terrible. Like, and I'm just dealing with the mother shit.
No, I get that. I mean,
you know,
I think for a lot of people too, there's just like, I mean, crap, I deal with that with my own mom. She'll be like, I had a cookie, I was bad. I'm like, well, what inherently makes that bad? Like
it's so hard.
I get, yeah, like it's one of those things, air quotes, you categorize as like, you know, not the healthiest food, right? Like, but at the same time, like, I'm 100% with you. Like, you need to be able to enjoy your life. Like, I had a friend visiting for the last 2 days, and like, I ate stuff I wouldn't usually eat, and the other, 80% of the time, like, I eat like so monotonously. Like, I just eat rice, some kind of lean protein, and like a vegetable. Yeah, but like, for me, honestly, it's out of pure efficiency and laziness. Like, that's the one part of my life I don't want to
think about it.
Yes, exactly. I'm just like,
I don't want to think about it.
Easy. I don't want to have to be like, oh, like even I'm sure you've possibly counted at one point. Like, I've had my whole super negative dysfunctional phase with counting, where like I've definitely cried being like a couple grabs off.
Same.
But not for the grabs, but because it caused me like conflict with other people, where they're like, well, what can you eat? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then
I can.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. I mean, that's a really hard thing, I think, like, even with like, if you deal with the training side of like women being intimidated to
By food,
kind
yeah.
of
And
go
it's
hard
also
with.
my men. Oh, my men and my women, which surprisingly my men too, like have a really bad relationship with food as well. But like, if I have a few that I've gotten to that point where it's like they eat mostly clean and they know to, when they go to a restaurant, they order the basic shit. You get salmon, veggies, and potatoes.
Yeah.
No restaurant has no salmon, veggies, and potatoes. Every restaurant has a cod, a sea bass. Every restaurant. You can't tell me you can't find it.
I feel like I've seen that on your story. Like there's always sea bass. Like
There's always sea bass. And I'm one of those annoying people where it's like, if I'm not a fan of like fried things for the most part, I think it's just the years of training. And I used to have a really bad relationship with food. And like, I remember I did fasting for a while.
Yep.
I was doing intermittent fasting, and it was like, I try not to be biased with my experience, where I had a really bad experience. Like I would fast for 2 days and then I'd be scared to eat.
Damn. So you were really
Yeah, like,
fasting for like big windows.
Big windows, yeah. And like it made me really resilient to eat or whatnot. So when my clients are like, oh, should I fast, whatever, I kind of try to decipher what their lifestyle, like if you're working really late at night and waking up pretty, like, sure, like if that works for you, cool, let's try it. But if you don't need to, like, don't.
Yeah, I think for me, I like eating like big meals. Like, so when I did it, it was like a way for me to do it. The caveat I could see to that is like it might encourage binge eating, because you have people like, if you're doing like, I think I did the 16-hour fast, typically you had the 8-hour window,
8 hours, yeah.
which is like, I feel like the way you typically first find it. But like, you know, if you have high caloric demands, like
Right.
like I was over definitely 3K. I mean, I don't think I'm ever under like 34-ish, like most
Calories,
of the time.
yeah.
Like it's a lot of, like, I think people forget, like, I don't know if you like, it's just a small tangent. Like people think they want to have these like really high maintenance numbers for calories. And it's like, I don't think you comprehend what 32, like,
What's keeping up with that? Like there's times where I'm just like, I'm chugging down shake 2 times a day because
oh, yeah.
I can't eat this much rice.
I literally have a rice cooker full of rice the other day, and like Connor literally will be like, "What are you eating?" He's like, "Is that like chicken and rice?" I'd be like, "Yeah." Like,
Same old. Nothing's
just,
changed.
it's just easy. Like I'm not eating it even because it's like this is clean. It's like I can just eat it, and I can kind of like mindlessly do it, and it's like
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm pretty booked and like I'm not out of a gym, really, like it's very rare that I train at Hype now. I go to my clients' gyms. So I travel with my clients. Yeah. It's, some people find it miserable, but it keeps my 10K steps nailed.
Nice.
I have like minimum, I'm walking 12K a day.
That's
minimum.
Good.
Yeah. So I enjoy that it keeps me accountable in that way. So I don't mind going in between clients. The hardest part though is it's like I don't get to prep a whole bunch of food because I don't have access to a microwave. I'm not gonna carry a whole bunch of meals with me on the go. Like, so mostly like I'm surviving on wraps, like burrito bowls on the go, and like protein shakes. So it's like it's nice to do this when I know most of my clients live the same way, when they're like working a lot and they don't have time. I'm like, all right, well, you got this go-to, you got this guy, you can do this for eating. But back to mental health.
Yep.
Derailed. We derailed to food. There was actually a client once that it was just a lot of mental breakdowns in the session, which I get it. And I'm usually okay with like calming my client, whatever. And I remember like not firing is not the word. It was mostly like sitting down with the client and just telling them like, look, I think you're better off investing your money in therapy. And thankfully I got a text like a few months later, like, you're right. Nice. And that was like one of the biggest highlights of my career. I'm like, great. Like, I'm really glad I was able to do that.
I definitely feel that. I mean, I think I've had like when I worked at one place, they would always kind of go to like the what, like you're asking someone a why, like you'd want to this was a commercial gym. And I was like, you might not want to open Pandora's box because like you don't know what's really in there. Like, and I'm sure you know too, like people joke that like trainers are kind of people's therapists at times. Like
we are. Look, we are. Period.
I told my one client, like there are clients I've had where it wasn't like I was closed with them, but like they would share so much with me that like I knew their past love interests, like I knew like some other stuff, and I was like, you don't know my favorite color, like, and that's not a bad thing, like,
right.
but I'm like, you know, I don't know if I would tell. I personally like wouldn't probably go into that with most people.
Like you don't personally cross that line with clients.
I will go there actually because I enjoy, like, the vulnerability is important that they know I'm human too. Like, like that's especially for the food thing. Like if someone's like, oh, what do you eat? Like, I'm gonna go drink Coke in a minute. Like I enjoy Coke. Like, like, is it a frequent thing? No, but like I don't want them to,
go ahead.
No, I just don't want them to think I'm like I've talked about therapy with some of my clients, or just like even just holding, like I rather than be able to vent sometimes and like train at like, I don't know, a mid like intensity just to get it out, like, because that's not the thing that's like hindering them at the moment. It's like,
it's the mind.
Yeah,
I get that. I am like very transparent with my clients. My clients know everything, not everything, but mostly all about me. Like we vent not vent to each other, but like if they're venting to me, I share the little bit that I can, but my clients know a lot about me.
Yeah.
Like my clients are some of my closest friends they've turned into.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, which is why I feel like my tenure with them has been so long too, because I've become in a point family. Like I'm flying out to Spain next year for my client's wedding for a week.
That's awesome.
You know, and I'm like, I'm not charging her, you know, she's become like family to me.
I feel that.
You know what I mean?
I have one client that's like, I mean, she's older than me, but she's like having a younger sister in some ways, just because of where we are outside of our professional careers. And it's like, she's still at like the rate I charged people like 2 years ago. Like,
someone has to just keep there.
It's not about the money. Like,
it's a relationship we have with them.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I feel that. How did you, like, what made you kind of start caring about mental health stuff? Like for you, what was like what like pulled you into it? Because I feel like at least for me, where I grew up, and did you grow up here in the States or did you grow up in
I was born and raised in New York.
Okay, gotcha. So at least like I was born and raised in New Jersey up until, like I said, 9 months ago. But like if you met me at 21 or 18, like if someone just was telling me about like their mental health struggles, I'd probably be like, oh, you're weak. And then like very, very different opinion. And like that's such a it's so much broader than like just even saying I'm
part of the growth.
Like, yeah, I mean, just in how I internalize it, I think because of some of the stuff I've experienced now and like my perspective on like our overall health, not just like how much money do you make and like how big are your biceps? Like those two things don't actually matter.
Well, I didn't have the jolliest childhood, and it didn't hit me until I got in my relationship now. Like my boyfriend and I have been together for years, and you start like just noticing shit when you're in a relationship, like certain triggers are like, I was getting mad about the dumbest things. And I'm like, you know, after a while, I'm like, what is going on? Like, and that's when I started seeking therapy. Cause I was like, I'm burdening this guy about stressing him out about the most dumbest stuff. Like, what is wrong with me? And he was he's like, there's probably nothing wrong with you. But like, he was being really nice and reciprocal. It's just like, I don't want to live like this. So a lot of it had to do just resolving a lot of childhood trauma, which it manifests into your future relationships and the way that you cope with things. And the biggest thing I do cognitive therapy.
Okay.
It's mostly not just like, how does that make you feel, and telling stories. Like it's basically we're talking about experiences and then nailing it at a nervous system point. So it's a lot of like, she makes me say what happened.
Yep.
And then we notice what happens in the body.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then before it gets to the body, she gets to the point where like in the nervous system, Janelle, where do you feel it? And I like it's so weird. Like it'll start like my stomach is dropping, and she goes, okay, and then we'll like relax a little bit, and then we'll try it again, and it's like there's this tweak in my back, and then my stomach drops, and it's like mastering your triggers at a nervous system, like from the source, is so different than to just brushing it off when it already reached above water. You know what I mean?
You're becoming aware of it like moment to moment. Like
moment to moment. And it's so hard to do that.
So my current therapist, I've never done it before. I don't know if you've heard of somatic experiencing, which
yes.
is like my current therapist practices SE after Elish actually had gotten me to read Peter Levine's book, Waking the Tiger. Yeah. So like, it's very novel, but like exactly what you described. She'll have me like say no, right? Like as someone who's a people pleaser. And it's like, what did you feel? And I'm like, I literally just feel my stomach like whirlpool back. And she's like, okay, like, can you sit with that? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm like, get rid of it.
And the thing is, she's really good at like reading emotions. So when I don't want to cry, she calls it. She goes, yeah. She gives me this voice, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't want to cry, but that's what we pay them for.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think like that's actually one of my favorite things at this point. Like I think for a solid, God, what was it? I probably didn't cry for like a decade, maybe. Like I think the first time
Very man of you, like men don't cry.
Well, it wasn't a choice. Like it wasn't a choice. Like it was just like I remember I just bawled out crying after I did quite a bit of mushrooms at one point, and it was kind of like, have you seen Good Will Hunting?
No.
Oh, like you have to watch that movie. Okay. Like one of Robin Williams' best movies ever. Like, but like the person I was with just said something like, it was Elish. Like he just said something to me, and I like broke open and just started bawling.
Bawling, yeah. Like, I'm taking some of his meditation classes.
Nice. Okay, like the circles.
Yeah, the circles.
Oh, I've never been on the same one as you. You probably do the during the week ones, and because of the time difference, I'm always on like the Saturdays. Yeah. But no, I literally feel like probably like 22, I started to be able to like get most of my emotions back. Because I literally, if someone's like, "What are you feeling?" I'm like, I don't think I've actually ever thought about that.
Yeah, we don't think about it, and especially like I'm noticing this New York City itself. Like I'll have, let's say, 5 clients, right? And I'm traveling to 5 different locations, right? All within Midtown, maybe 15 minutes away each. And I finish exhausted. Like, and my clients are great, but the city's energy, the city's consumption, the rush, like that is draining by itself.
Yeah.
And I'm always walking fast. I'm a fast walker. I just can't, like, even if I don't need to rush, I rush. And I'm trying to learn to slow down. But we've talked about how like it's embedded in me to not slow down. So even in like being in a relationship with my partner, it's like I am quick to answer without stopping first.
Yeah.
And realizing like what's happening at the surface and whatever. And one of the therapists I had one time, like, I forgot what type of therapy it's called, when you kind of like write your experience over and over again to kind of make it more bearable.
The exposure therapy?
Exposure therapy. Yeah. There we go. So I'm reading a book right now that's talking about like trauma. Elish actually recommended it.
What book is it?
It's Within My Bones by Stephanie Fu.
Okay, I have not. Actually, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah. It just came out. And funny too, I trained the publisher.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
It's so cool. I love it. Yeah, like, where was I? Where are we going with this? Talking about, like exposure therapy. In the book, she reminded me of like exposure therapy and numbing it is not so much about like, okay, playing out the experience is not so bad anymore. when you think you're okay, like it's not, like you gotta like sit with it even deeper than you think. Like exposure therapy might not be the best therapy.
Yeah.
And the book really has like helped me understood that, where, you know, you gotta go deeper to this. It all comes down to the nervous system, all of it. And it's pretty cool. It's been pretty cool deciphering that and finally not mastering, but like acknowledging and knowing what steps to take when like I'm feeling stuff.
Does the book talk about some of that? Like what steps?
It does, yeah. I'll send it to you.
Okay, I definitely would love that. Like, I feel like that's the stuff. Like one book that really resonated with me, because I'm still feel like I'm still unpacking a lot of stuff in my own understanding of myself. Like,
Right.
there's a book called Everyone Needs Attention, which is on like childhood development. But like, I resonated so deeply with that book because I love kids. I want to have a kid at some
Right.
point. I don't know if more than one, but like the way we raise kids is like kind of thinking about them as like these unformed, as not being whole from birth, right? You know, like the way we talk to kids, like how intelligent they actually are, and just like you know, they depend on us as like, I mean, we're relatively adults, I'll say, like,
yeah,
because we're in our 20s.
We try to be.
Yeah, we're in our I mean, I literally am gonna build a fort in my apartment out of wood in like the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, and loft my bed like 8 feet in the air. So like, I'm sure at some point, if I'm in a relationship, it's just gonna be like, what the hell is that? I'd be like, oh, I have like a bunk bed because I'm a child. But I can't do this because this is my apartment. But like, yeah, I think like with so much of that, like just treating kids as whole, like Ellis just really likes Janet Lansbury too, who writes on childhood development stuff. And like, it's such a compassionate model versus being like,
yeah. I've read a few things where one of my friends does this, where she treats her daughter like an adult.
yep.
And I love it. I'm fully in process with it. And some of my cousins, like, I'm Latin, and like, it's very much, you listen to me, you respect me, and you shut up.
Yeah.
So like, I was hanging out with them the other day and I was just like, stop talking to them like that. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, don't, just treat them like adults and come down to them, like respectfully tell them. And I'm like, at a point we were hanging out, like she kind of screamed at the kids. And I was like, go apologize. Like, go apologize. Go say sorry.
So I can relate to that. So my dog is back home in Jersey, but like, even with my dog, I got to the point where I was like, why am I getting mad at my dog? Like, it's just some of my own work. I was like, my dog is a dog. It only knows what dogs know. Like,
I learned that so hard with Kilo.
It literally hurt me because she'd look at me and like her eyes, like for anyone that listening, you're not gonna be able to see it, but like she like, you know, puppy eyes, and I'm like, I can't get mad at you for barking excessively. Like, you think something's wrong. Like, this is all you can do.
It's insane. I learned that the most with like how I'm gonna be a parent in the future with my dog. Like Kilo one day, dude, my patience was running. I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
I literally just like sat on the couch and I was like, do I want this dog? Like, I was just questioning everything. Like, I can't do this. But yeah, he was a puppy at the time. Like, he doesn't know any better.
I literally, you know, I feel the same way, because then I feel so much guilt if it's not even maybe shame. I'm just like, I would go over and like apologize to my dog. And I'm just like, I love you. Like,
I can't understand, but like, it's still out there.
I think they can feel that. I mean,
yeah.
Definitely, I would say like, I think it also just makes me enjoy my time with my dog so much more. Like, one of my favorite things that I feel like this is just all dogs, but like I notice it is like my dog, when we go for a walk, is like it's like a little kid, right? Like the world is so interesting to her.
Everything is so awesome. Everything is great.
Like, I gotta sniff this, and it's like, oh wait, other thing 2 centimeters away, I gotta sniff this too, and it's like,
I know. I try to take Kilo to the park every morning to fetch, and I feel like it's my meditative state in the morning. To like, I get my coffee, I take my dog to the park to play fetch. I play classical music, and I do that for about 30 minutes every morning.
That's awesome.
And I think it's just the beautiful innocence of them being so excited to get a ball. And they're proud every single time. They're so proud to catch the ball every single time.
I think it's just so pure, right? Like for you, you can get in like that flow state where it's like I think some of my favorite days have definitely been where like I have no agenda. I'm just like moving through the day and like,
yeah, we're doing what we want.
but there's also this feeling of like presence in the sense that there's no rush to be anywhere else. Like
I do that when I travel. So
I can imagine that.
I've been to a few countries by myself, and I think I have to highlight like Copenhagen, Amsterdam, and yes, Switzerland when I went recently.
I was gonna say I remember Switzerland out of your story.
Yeah, like what I usually do is commonly I stay for about 5 days to 7 days, and I'll book excursions and I'll see the towns for the first 3 to 4.
Okay.
And then Trevor, I do nothing. I do nothing. Like
the 5th day?
Like the 5th and 6th day, I do nothing. Maybe like, I remember in Amsterdam, my last day, I biked around and kind of just watched the water. I like hearing new language. So like in France, for example, I would sit at the busiest corner. I would sit at the busiest corner in France with like a glass of wine and just like listen.
I love that.
The language, I have no idea what they're saying.
I'm always super curious with that stuff because I've even been on planes where I'm like trying to figure out what dialect it is. And I'm like, I have like, there are some I've never, like some, right? Like you hear it, you're like, this sounds like that. But like I had a neighbor who, I think their nanny was like from Nepal or something.
Cool.
And she was like, I was like, I've never heard, like that is nothing close. Like I've heard people speak Thai. I've heard people speak like Tagalog, like all these other things. I'm like, that's different. I'm like, what? I literally just asked her after she got off the phone and we're across on our decks. I'm like, what language was that? Like, like I gotta know. But no, I feel that if you ever get the chance, like I went to, Ben House, I'm pretty sure probably, right? Or Dr. Ben House, like,
of course.
Yes. Yeah. So if you ever get the chance to go to Costa Rica at his place, it's awesome.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Like sadly, I got really into band during the pandemic. Like
that's okay.
Yeah. So next time he opens up Costa Rica, I think I'm gonna go.
I've been actually right before I left one of my training jobs at this boutique gym to go to a Lifetime just because it was a better place to build a clientele. I went for a week. Right. And I just remember like by the last couple of days, the same thing you said, like I was just in a hammock reading Eckhart Tolle at the time.
Oh, I love Eckhart Tolle.
Like I was just in this hammock and I'm like, I literally could just lay here. Like, I don't actually know if I want to do much of anything.
That's really cool. I heard Eckhart Tolle was in Drake's new album. Not the newest album right now, the previous Drake album, Eckhart Tolle is in it.
The interlude or?
In the interlude, yeah. And like there's another song where like some of his sayings are in the song.
Oh, it's gonna be like he just starts rapping. Like I got Eckhart Tolle to rap.
Eckhart Tolle starts rapping a verse.
It'd be great if he could actually like drop bars. Just like, whoa.
Oh, good time. I was really into Eckhart Tolle during college.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. I took this one religion class. Like I went to school and I preferred my electives, like the ones that don't matter, way more than my major. And I fell in love with my religion class. I'm not religious, no offense to anybody. I think religion is beautiful in its own way. But like all the different ideologies and whatnot, and like one of the things we studied was like Eckhart Tolle. He also introduced us to like Alan Watts, if you've heard of him. Alan Watts saved me. I spent a year, the YouTube talks that they put of Alan Watts?
Oh yeah, like Ram Dass, him, all the other guys.
And all that, yeah. I spent a year, I kid you not, waking up every morning and listening to 5 minutes of Alan Watts every single day.
I gotta find, there's a band on Spotify that it's like Barada or something. Like I'll find it and send it to you if you want.
Yeah.
But it's like Alan Watts, and then in the back is like this like instrumental music like over his talks, but it definitely like rises and changes with the
elevation flow. Yeah, when I used to do yoga back then, the yoga people I used to go to, they would play Alan Watts at the end.
That's awesome.
Which is really cool. It was a good time.
I have, what is it? I have the orange book or the blue book like on my shelf. Like I just remember the first time I opened it, like Ellis's
What
suggestion.
the fuck am I reading?
I was like, dude, what's wrong with this guy? Like,
You know, he was an alcoholic.
no, I did not. But that,
Yeah, he was an alcoholic.
I haven't read much of it, and I got this recommendation actually from someone who I feel like isn't super well known in fitness, which is Andrew Triana.
Yeah.
So like Andy has like Go Super Brain. So he might be someone you like. He talks a lot. He's like Uber, talks about some of like Uberman-ish type stuff, but obviously his own person and awesome. He was one of Pat Davidson's students at Springfield at one point.
Oh, cool.
But Andy's our age, like beautiful mind, like awesome person, really very pragmatic too.
We love that.
He does some of my nutrition stuff, like supplementation. But he recommended Carl Jung's The Undiscovered Self, which I started. And I just remember
that's a hard read.
Every like fourth paragraph, like I'm just like dictionary. Like I'm like, okay. Like I'm like trying to tie it together. I'm like, so this sentence actually means like decoding the back of a cereal box.
Exactly. That's what with every Alan Watts book. Like, am I? Who am like? What is this?
Oh my God. I feel like, I don't know. I haven't hit like, I'm waiting until maybe the floor drops out with reading some of that stuff that I just like completely like, I lose it. Like, but I've definitely had moments where I'm like, wait, what's real? I'm like, oh no.
Well, this is, oh my God, you have to read.
And I'm not like in a scary way too when I say that. So like people might think like at times I find it fun to question reality, like and think about that.
I love it.
But there's definitely also moments where like if I'm in the wrong headspace and I get like caught in a loop and I'm just like, oh no, like how do I wrangle myself back in?
If you enjoy it, you have to read Super Intelligent by Nick Bostrom.
I gotta write that down.
Yes, you gotta read this. It's about, so I believe like a good 75% of me believes that we live in a simulation.
Okay.
And like the book is basically this, like, he strongly believes we live in
really like simulation theory.
Simulation theory, and like he talks about how great and bad humanity has discovered things. For example, we discovered the atom. Cool. But also we make nuclear bombs out of that.
Yeah, I figured literally the second you started that sentence, I'm like, I know where this is gonna go. Well, I think that's like Ellis just quoted this a couple times, and I like Jordan Peterson's like way of thinking a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's like maybe God didn't create a world with evil; He created it with the possibility of evil.
Evil, yeah.
Because I think like people forget, including myself, like if shit wasn't bad at times, like shit also wouldn't be good. It's this.
I'm big on the whole yin and yang thing.
Yeah. Like I mean, you need things to contextualize other things, right? Like if you've never had a shitty relationship, how do you know what a good one's like? It's like if every burger tastes like a McDouble, like chances are there's not a good burger.
There's not a good burger out there.
Yeah, you're just like everything just tastes like blah. Like,
I love entropy. I appreciate entropy. I think it's beautiful.
I think it's just coming to be able to appreciate like there are those moments where we're gonna feel like we're more contracted or smaller. Like, and then at the same time, like you have the opposite where you're just like, I'm really happy to be who I am, to exist in this world, in this moment.
That's how I feel like when I'm reading about like astronomy and whatnot, where it's like you start feeling so small.
Yeah, but not in a bad way, right? Like,
not in a bad way. No, like in a beautiful way of like, oh my God, I'm made out of the same shit out there.
That's how I feel when I look up at the sky. Like if you have I mean, here there's less light pollution, but like, yeah, I'm sure solo traveling in like Switzerland or like Copenhagen, like
Switzerland,
you get to stare at like the sky full of stars and you feel so small. Like there's so much more than just me. Like it's this expansiveness, right? Like,
well, that was the thing with so I have this weird emotional attachment to White Mountains.
I think I feel like you might have posted about that.
Maybe. I posted about this where it's like during therapy, when you kind of do the cognitive thing, kind of feeling. So like when it was something about, we would go through the emotion, and Trevor, every time I found like calmness in the body, an image of White Mountains would pop up. And I've never seen White Mountains in real life.
That's awesome.
I know. So like when I went to Switzerland, I was like, dude, I was bawling. I was like, they're beautiful.
I totally get that. I mean, I I just literally think of that. That reminds me of, we had I was on meditation retreat with Elish, and we were, this dude who was the co-teacher of the retreat.
I want to go to one. Yeah.
I definitely, I feel like we went to Shinzen Young, was the one we did together at one point, and Shinzen's like very pragmatic. Like, you don't want all the mysticism and stuff. Cool. Here's the bare bones. Like, you still need to come to understand your experience at a deeper level.
Right.
And then like, oh, he's so cute.
He's very.
He's the best. Yeah, he looks so adorable.
Big cuddler.
I love that. Like, dogs that are affectionate and cuddly, but like, basically this, like, this teacher was talking about, like, he just had this, I think he was hiking or something, and he just had this moment where he started breaking down like peak experience, and he was just like, this is it. Like
yeah, like this is the essence of it.
Yeah, like it just happened.
Have to be more or less. Like, just this is it.
I mean, I don't even think you have like those thoughts in those moments, because I feel like there are a lot of moments like that where I'm just so present that it's not until after like the experience is over that I'm just like, oh shit, that's what that was. Like,
it's really cool. Like last night I was experiencing, I went to a piano concert.
I saw it. I love piano too.
It's Ludovico Unandi. I'm probably sabotaging his name, but oh my God, like being live with an orchestra or something it's one of my favorite things, just because I don't get to hike in New York. So the closest thing to in the moment presentness and like being embraced by something is like a piano orchestra concert in New York.
I saw the visuals on the back, which I loved. Like,
oh my God. Dude, he had his new album is called like Underwater. So this man had the projector in front of him.
That's awesome.
So he was behind the projector, and the projector like was projecting like the ocean, right? And then eventually like he pulled up the projector and the water was behind. It was so cool. It was so cool.
I'm definitely, there was this, I went by myself. I feel like it was in Brooklyn. It was a classical instruments. They covered anime openings.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God, I would have loved that.
Ellis's girlfriend actually sent it to me, and I just remember finding it, and I was like, I think I tried to get someone to go with me. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go by myself. Like, yeah, and they did like so many, like, the one girl even sang in Latin the opening to Elfenlied, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which I've always seen one episode, and that show starts out at 100. Like, there's no zero, there's no ramp up.
But everything's extreme.
Yeah. But like, it was one of those things, same thing. There was like a bunch of candles lit like around the stage, and like, I think there was a cello, violin, and like, I forget the other two, but I was just like, this is so awesome to hear it done in this.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
How did you, like, what made you want to start? So I had started taking piano lessons, and then 2 weeks later, COVID. So I stopped, but I actually watched Your Lie in April, which if you haven't seen it, it will wreck you. Like, I have 2 episodes left, and it's about piano. Like, the piano he plays is a Steinway. Like, this girl's a violinist. It's so good, especially as someone who loves music and musical anime stuff.
I love that.
So like, how did you, like, what got you to want to play piano? Or like,
it's always like, I've always loved classic music. My mom, you know, if there's one artist that I've listened to the most in my life, it is definitely Kenny G.
Okay.
Like, I was raised on it. I still listen to it throughout high school. I still listen to it today. And ever since like I was young, I always liked classical music, and I always liked piano. And I'm one of those, I was talking to this with the neuroscientists that I train. So they're running studies on like people who get goosebumps when they listen to music. And I'm one of those. And like, somehow it's unexplainable, but supposedly we're just kind of more emotional. But yeah, like ever since piano specifically, it's very emotionally connected to me. Like, I love it. And I never had the resources to play. And now that I'm older, I make the money to do it. I have my piano teacher. She's once a week. And it's fucking hard, dude. It's so hard.
I think the hardest thing for me, and I love that, by the way, because I actually, watching Your Lie in April, like, I want to get another keyboard because my other one's back in Jersey, and when I drove, I was not taking it in the car. Like, but I want to know how to play again. But I remember the hardest thing for me was like just the finger movement and like that dissociation.
Moving them together it's hard. It's hard. I finally can play together and can read music, but I'm so slow.
Jealous.
I am so slow.
It doesn't matter. Like I've tried watching those tutorials where it shows you what key to hit. And I'm just like I just start flailing and it's not even music anymore. I'm just like, I'm not even doing this.
It's not working. No.
It's like I don't know if you learned when you learned how to type, but at first I would just like chopstick, like
Exactly.
I was pretty good. I got pretty fast.
Letters, it was like the stick on the A, the bubble. No.
Which way is the bubble facing?
And honestly, like I'm like maybe 2 years into lessons on and off because like our schedules usually can't correlate.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've gotten far. Like I went from knowing nothing to pretty much like I can read music. If I practiced enough, I can play the whole sheet. And it's pretty hard. Honestly.
Oh no, please. No, you please.
But I was telling my teacher the other day, because when I was doing Olympic weightlifting often all the time, you know, my life consists of gripping really hard all the time. Oh yeah.
You ever get lobster hands or like crab claws where you just put the deadlift down and you're just like.
So like when I was Olympic weight, my sessions would run like an hour and a half and I go like right into piano lessons and I'm like, I cannot stretch that way.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get that. I used to do powerlifting and I wasn't doing keyboard at the time, but like I hook gripped when I pulled deadlift.
Right.
I just remember like putting it down and my fingers would still be curled. Like I couldn't move, like they were just like a locked object.
Yeah, like getting them out, it's really hard.
But no, I love that. I mean, I really want to know how to read sheet music. And one of the reasons I wanted to learn was like, I love the sound of piano. Like it's so I think it's one of my favorite instruments easily. Like I also love through finding it like handpan. If you've ever heard someone play a handpan before.
Handpan, I'm gonna note this down.
Ellis exposed me to it, but it's like a lot of like, I don't even know what you call, I guess it's a percussion.
Oh yes. I've seen this in Central Park actually.
I love the way that sounds. It's like so
peaceful,
so calming. Like, and if you get people who can
vibration thing.
If you get people who can go off on it too, like you hear it and it's so dynamic in the way they can play it. Same thing as piano, right? Anything else, but I wanted to know how to play anime OPs on a piano. I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this for this reason.
Get to it. I'm gonna hold you accountable for that.
I'll send you something later, but there's this dude who does them he's got this insanely expensive Yamaha, but like,
of course.
Have you ever watched Code Geass?
No.
You would probably really like it. I think you'd probably really like it. Like, but the dude covers this opening. And like at one point, I'm like, how do you move your fingers like this? Like he's definitely got to be like a lifetime long. I thought it was a Steinway at first, but it's like it's got to be something.
When you're at that point, it's like you've been doing this since you were a child.
Oh yeah. There's no way he's like.
There's no way. But surprisingly, like I'm not into music like that. I'm not into the Beethoven, the Mozart. Surprisingly, I don't really like it. Like I don't know. It's not my cup of tea in the piano world. You
need to watch Your Lie in April. Like you're gonna resonate with it so deeply. Because if I can, I don't think this is a spoiler, and you can yell at me afterwards. Like they're going through the journey of like playing to truly express yourself versus staying to the metronome and like playing to the, I forget what the term is, but like playing how the composer wrote it versus putting yourself into the piece.
Into it. Oh, that's cool.
That's I definitely feel that. Like I draw and I haven't been doing as much as I'd like lately, but like that's like the progression. I'm still definitely mastering like the intermediate part where it's like I want to get to where it's like, okay, now I have enough raw tools where it's just like this is me.
Flow with it. Kind of flow with it. Yeah, that's dope. That's awesome.
So is there anything else that you've kind of been exploring recently or that you're looking forward to, whether it be like solo travel? Because I feel like I don't know if you plan these things, you're just like, I'm going on vacation. Like,
no, I do. I usually plan it, but they're usually very it's usually emotional. It's usually my job is a lot, New York City is a lot, and I want to get the fuck out. Like But yeah, I'm hopefully looking forward to Iceland in September.
Oh, are you going to I don't even want to attempt to pronounce the name of it. It starts with a V or whatever. You know what I'm It's like one of the main places you can fly to too, I think.
No, I'm going to I don't want to butcher the name here, but it's in Iceland. I'm going to Iceland and I'm doing the volcano, I'm doing the Northern Lights, hopefully.
That's
A lot of hiking. That's all I want
Yes.
to do. I'm gonna hike for 3 days and I want to do nothing
for the other two.
for the other 2 days.
Are you a big hiker?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you would
maybe I could take the metro north upstate, like a little bit out of New York. Like Anthony's Nose is one of the hikes you can go to. Like it's pretty easy to get to.
Okay. You would definitely like outside of Portland, we have like Mount Hood, which I think might be the most hiked mountain, like the most hiked mountain in the world, I think, because
That's a goal of mine, actually. It's a recent goal of mine.
to do Mount Hood.
To do Mount Hood, yeah.
I've done Mount St. Helens, which I didn't know until after we hiked it like 2 weeks later. It's a volcano. It is a volcano. But I also didn't know it went off at one point. But yeah, it's definitely hiking is, if you go to Costa Rica, we hiked like at one point.
Of course. Yeah,
And there's benches built into the trail of this hike because it's definitely that bad at some points.
Oh, that's cool.
Or I'm that deconditioned. But
either or.
It's probably more of the latter. But it's so beautiful. Like the vegetation. If I love tropical places in the ocean,
right,
more than like the cold. But I have my appreciation for the cold too. But if you ever get the chance, it's definitely highly recommend going.
Wow, damn.
So, but I feel like I went on a strong tangent. So what else besides like you got Iceland for travel? Is there any other like hobbies, books, things you're going through right now that you're just really enjoying?
Honestly, other than Katie St. Clair's course, it's I paint here and there, which I'm trying to get more into.
Nice.
Nothing major, just kind of like whatever I want and whatever feels cool. Other than that, no, like I pretty much just work, read, walk, and like travel once in a while. That's it. That's very simple in my life.
Oh no, to me that sounds awesome. I mean, I think like it's hard to simplify your life in a lot of ways. Like I'm trying to do that now, but I'm like, where do I find more time? Like, can I make 26-hour days a thing? But no, I feel that. I gotta ask, like acrylic paint, watercolor, like
acrylic.
Okay. I literally
very messy.
Oh, I know. I have a tarp I have a back room that's like an art room. And I started painting and I'll finish it eventually. Yeah. But I think we gotta wrap up. I know like 8:30ish, you gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go now.
Okay. If you want to be found, well, one, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been awesome to finally talk to you.
You too, dude. You too.
Through this. But if you want to be found, where can people find you and connect with you? They can connect with me on Instagram. I'm at the June Method. It's JUN Method. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. Thank you, Trevor, for having me. Have a great one. You too. Bye.